Oh, hi there, YouTube. This is Flamzeron, aka YouTube's Tosuke. Hey there, guys. I screwed you guys up. But, yeah. That was my Mega Man X commentary series. I played through all of them, starting with X4 all the way to X3. Going 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, essentially. I did it that way because originally I think I was just going to do X4 because that game is very important to me. And is one of my favorite, it's really my favorite X game, but then I started kind of doing the thing with Dream Sword, and then shit went down, essentially. I figured I'd do a little recap and aftermath kind of thing for this one, since I do that usually. Really, with Mega Man X, which is the one we're starting with, by the way, like I keep saying, this one I do not remember playing. I may have played it. I'm pretty sure I played one of them. I think I started off with the original, though I don't know. It was probably either 5 or 6 that I played. I cannot remember for the life of me. And once again, I apologize if you were displeased with my opinions on, or really my stance on Mega Man X1. But again, keep in mind, I didn't grow up with it, so I don't really have any nostalgic value for it. You know, my opinion still stands. It's very much like my thoughts on Mega Man video that I did, where I did a poorly done one, admittedly, took it down, then redid it, essentially just said the exact same thing, just kind of tried to make it a little more, open-minded sounding and whatnot. It was essentially the same thing, but that's not what we're talking about. But Mega Man X1, I don't think it was the weakest. It's clearly not the strongest, obviously, but I do respect it for being the first and, the thing that kind of kickstart the Mega Man X series. So, and I enjoyed it. I mean, just because a Mega Man game doesn't have zero doesn't mean that zero playable doesn't mean that I can't enjoy it. I mean, I play, Mega Man in general. So, that's how that goes. X2, I think, is definitely the weakest out of them all. Like, even a little bit under X7, to be perfectly honest, because X7 is at least, I don't know, it has 0 in it. X2, I definitely don't remember playing. Like, as I stated in the video, to me, it practically didn't even exist. So, like, the first time I actually played it was actually in the Mega Man X collection. That was my first time playing it. It wasn't like with the original, where I had only played like one game, or the Zero series, where I had played pretty much all of them. But I did not play that one. It did seem a little slower. I think it's mainly just because of the way I don't know, maybe just because of the way how I got the impression that the screen didn't move with you as you moved, like I felt like the other ones did. Or that I feel like the third one did, which I feel like kind of perfected that whole dealio. But, definitely an okay game, I suppose. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever try to complete it. Like, as much as I kind of do my thing with X1, I probably will eventually try to finish it, But X2, definitely probably the weakest, if not second weakest, with, X7, but, it's still Mega Man X, so that's not too much of a problem. Now, X3 is the one I definitely remember playing. I vaguely remember playing it, but I do know that I played it. So, that's definitely a thing. And, of course, I remember the box art as well. I also remember seeing the box art for the first game as well, for Mega Man X1, which is one of the reasons why I'm sort of iffy on whether or not that was my first Mega Man game or not. As far as, really, I usually say Mega Man X3 is like the first one, because that's the first one I remember playing, because, when you're younger, there's a lot of stuff you don't remember. Like, really, when I was really young, like age 3, like up to age 4, my life is like a blur to me. I don't remember hardly anything. But I do remember playing Mega Man at one point, so I at least knew that Mega Man existed. I am positive of that. You know, it's not like with my experience with Mario where I knew he existed and I had played his first game, and I at least was aware, you know. And it was the same with Sonic too, actually. Except Sonic I kind of got into later on when I was older. So older as in like 5 or 6, so. But X3 I definitely remember playing, and like I said in the commentary, my memory's a little iffy on it. And not to mention, it kind of looked a little different, too. I think they upscaled it a little bit for the PlayStation version. I'm assuming it's the PlayStation version because, you know, I'm playing the PlayStation version, and that probably would have been easier to port over. Now, I don't know if they make that a point between the GameCube and the PlayStation versions of, you know, maybe the GameCube version uses the Sega Saturn version. I doubt it. It's either the Sega Saturn or the PlayStation version. It's definitely not the Super Nintendo version. Unless they merge the two. Which, if that was the case, then my memory really is phasey because I don't remember Zero looking that bulky. Like, I remember, like, he looked almost more like an altered X with hair. I remember the music, you know. I might have to go back and I will try and kind of look back at the original if I ever get a chance to play it, or if I can find it somewhere. I think it's on the Virtual Console, is it not? I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, Mega Man X3, the current only memory point, like starting point for me. So it does have nostalgic value, and it does kind of have a close place in my heart, if not my penis. Now, X4 is where things really started to kind of become big. Like, if not X3, then X4 was definitely like my big Mega Man game. Like, I first played as X, and it's like, oh, well, I don't like this character. Okay, I'll play as the other character, Zero. And I played, it's like, this is the kind of character I'd want to play. Like, it's almost like, you know, it's like Zero fit so perfectly into what I would want to play as in this kind of game. You know, like my kind of playstyle. He fit perfectly. And not to mention he's pretty awesome to use, what with his little spinning sword move that he can do later on. Which is like the big move to use against bosses, to be honest. And so I played like, wow, this guy's really, really cool. Not to mention he was red, and I really liked his theme song. Like, that's one of my favorite songs in video game history, like, in general. Like, wow. Zero, I think, has great themes. I don't know if X4 is probably one of, if it's not X4, then if not X4, then Mega Man 02 or X3 or X6. You know, or his song in Ultimate Marvel, but that's or really Marvel's Capcom 3, but anywho, yeah, so X4 definitely probably my favorite Mega Man X, maybe even my favorite Mega Man game in general. I mean, the X series is if not my first favorite, then probably my second favorite, second to the Zero series. But X4 I really enjoyed. The music was great. I really liked sort of like the tone of it. You know, even playing as X was kind of fun as well, and spamming, you know, Nova Attack or whatever it's called. Nova Strike, I think. When you use the code for the Ultimate Armor. That's pretty cool. You know, I did the code for playing as Black Zero, which, honestly, for lack of a better term, helped give me the inspiration for one of my major OCs, who also happens to be one of the characters that I'd probably roleplay as the most. So I kind of have X4 to thank for giving me the inspiration for one of my main OCs. You know. So X4, great game, honestly. You know, and I feel like the music kind of goes along. I feel like the music in each one kind of goes in themes, and I'll get to that later on. But yeah, X4, awesome game. Definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite. X5, oddly enough, I heard about in a magazine, and my buddy Nick showed it to me. He's like, "Oh, check this out, MegaMan X5." I was like, "Oh, that looks cool. Looks kind of." It also looked kind of scary a little bit. Not really scary. I don't know. Kind of grimy or something. I don't know. It had more. It felt like it had more of a serious kind of bloodier tone than I think the first one than X4 did, which kind of funny considering that one actually had blood in the anime cutscenes. But I played this one late because there was one point where my Blockbuster started selling the MegaMan X, and I wanted to collect X 4 through 6 for some reason. And so I did, and, played it, and, that one was one of the first MegaMan games that I actually kind of got far on. Of course, I had the guide with me to kind of help me, so, of course, I did use the thing to get Black Zero, so that kind of helped out too, but even then, the game is not too terribly difficult. MegaMan, I feel like, is all about strategy, and it's very old school in that, I think, whereas you're not really reliant on variables as much as you are your own skill level and your own strategy. I mean, Dark Souls is similar, but it does kind of rely on variables, which I kind of like games that do that, because then that kind of gives you a little bit of a, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a scapegoat, maybe. I mean, it kind of makes things it makes you feel a little more secure, because like, oh, I'm at a higher level, I can beat this boss now. But with games like Mega Man, you only have like your own skill, so so honestly, I don't really, I mean, I feel like a normal boss for a normal player probably take 1 or 2 times, maybe. Like, if you're really skilled enough, take the time to kind of memorize the boss's strategy. And anyway, and this also gave us back Zero's Buster, which will end up being broken later on. But also introduced Coolio's skills, one of which I felt like kind of helped make X a little more easier to play, because it just gave him like his max energy thing, like at once. Like, you didn't have to charge or anything. And the game also did auto charge, which can be useful as well. But, and that's only if you want to. I've gotten into a habit of just charging in general. But I try to not to rely on full charges. But anyway, X5 definitely, I felt like the music had a certain tone to it. Very, very, Zero was, the plot was very Zero heavy, I think. Like, Zero seems to play a big part in Mega Man X4 onwards. He was supposed to be the main character, but, other stuff kind of got in the way. What else? This one, not nostalgic value, so this one, it's kind of more of just like, I kind of look at it as like, oh, something I played, but, I actually enjoyed it, I was able to get relatively far in it with my Black Zero file, and on my other file, I'm not really that far. And ducking, that's cool too. It's nice to duck, just because, sometimes, just out of habit, you'll press and it's like, why can't I duck? But, yeah, Mega Man X5, decent game, and I definitely feel a different kind of theme in the music. Yeah, the music in Mega Man games kind of play a big part, in my opinion. That's just the way I feel, honestly. But, yeah, not a real big fan of what they do to Zero in the end, but I don't really have a choice. I have to accept it. That's the way things are. Oh, X6. I dislike you, yet I like you at the same time. Mainly the liking part. Well, for one thing, they took Zero away from me. They tried to make it up by giving X the Z-Sayer, but no, you can't replace X. No, you can't. You can replace X. Like, I don't care. Take X out. Well, I kind of like X, though. I think it would have been better if he was actually the same character, because I feel like there's a bit of a distance between, the series. Because then I feel like that kind of breaks up the original and X as like a sequel. Because, I mean, very clearly, Mega Man X is a sequel to the original. Not a direct sequel, but it's still a sequel. It's like Fantasia and Symphonia, I say. But I feel like with Mega Man, or I don't know. I mean, it kind of helps. It kind of helps fill in a plot gap if they use a new Mega Man. But anyway, they also help by giving you the Falcon armor, which was actually my favorite armor from X5. So that was actually a plus in my opinion. So that kind of helped make things a bit easier. Though unlocking Black Zero became a little bit harder as well because you still had to play through the game like as X until you got him, which you got Zero. And you know, I probably should do another X6 video showing off me playing as Zero. But Zero actually plays a bit different than he usually does, giving him an upward slash, which I think they did that just, I don't know, probably just to make him different than X's saber slash. But you know, the music I actually really like. It felt more like real music. Like if that makes any sense. Like I feel like, I don't know, like the music had such a, I don't know, X6. You know, I talk about Mega Man X04 in this same way, where, you know, it's after the main conflict, and it's like an epilogue kind of thing when a new threat has come. Even if it ultimately ends up being the same threat, just disguised or not revealed till later. I don't know, I kind of like that, to be perfectly honest. It like brings out a different atmosphere in Mega Man, I think. So for me, Mega Man X6 and Mega Man 04, I kind of see in a similar kind of light in that sense as far as story goes. Plus, Gate is just fucking awesome. Like, I just think he's cool. But, and you know, but yeah, you do end up getting Zero later on. As I said, it was actually Ryo's idea, Reaver and Ryo's idea, to have such an emotional breakdown during the X6 one. I said, oh, that's a good idea, so I decided to do it. So credit to him for coming up with the idea. But as I stated in like the second part where I show the rest of the level, I am aware that you do get to play as Zero again. I actually, on both my files, because I have like one for the original PlayStation 1 version, another in the Mega Man X collection, which is the one I play the most. That you can get Zero, and I have them on both, so I might do a file for Black Zero as well at some point, just because I don't know, I kind of do that with things, but because ever since my inspiration came, I made a point to make a Black Zero file for each of the Mega Man games that would allow it. Just to kind of do a little bit of role-playing as well. Like, it was fun. Like, with X5, I would do a little bit of role-playing as my character and have him go around, like, he would go around killing, you know, the bad guys. So, you know, I think they're making a Black Zero action figure. I hope they make a variant where it's, like, with the blonde hair instead of, like, the grayer hair. But, yeah, X6... probably my second favorite of the X series, if not for its atmosphere that I get, because I feel like atmosphere is partially relative, but as well as the music and just, I don't know, like I usually go to Mega Man X6 whenever I just kind of want to just play a Mega Man game and not really, and just kind of mess around, because usually like I don't just play games for like completion or to have a challenge. I'm very much a casual gamer in the sense of why I game, but I feel like I'm more of a hardcore gamer in what the games I play are. Like, I don't play too many kid games, like games that are designed necessarily for kids. I play, like, you know, the hardcore games. But X6 is, like, one Mega Man game that I would go to if I ever was bored or anything. And I just wanted to play a quick Mega Man game and just kind of mess around. Either that or maybe X4. And just kind of pal around and whatnot. X7. You know, I don't even this game. I don't know this game. I don't know how to game. I don't know how to Mega Man X7. I forgot how. This game kind of broke me. You know, it's funny. I was so excited about it. He's like, oh, that's cool. Making it in 3D. Okay, that's nifty. And I remember, like, when I first got my PS2, this was the second game I wanted. Like, I wanted Kingdom Hearts 1, obviously, and then I wanted Mega Man X7 because of it. Okay, obviously, Mega Man, the next big game, is, you know, really natural. Well, I got it. I think I ended up getting that one late, so I just had Kingdom Hearts to play, as well as like maybe renting a game or two. Blah, blah, blah. And I played it, which, you know, it's like, hindsight, definitely a bad idea. And I'm like, oh man, why this game? I don't like it anymore. I don't like its face anymore. The problem, you know, the 3D's a bit of a pain. I felt like Zero was kind of weird. Like, the way he played. The voice acting I thought was fine. I didn't even know they included the Japanese voices, which I just thought was like, that's really odd. For a Mega Man game, usually you get either one or the other. I feel like now they try to make more of an effort of dubbing the games. No, personally, I wouldn't dub them. I would just take the voices out, like in any voice dialogue. And just have like the Japanese voices for like all the grunts and attacks, and I'd have it like it's DLC. Maybe like, hey, you want to actually hear the voices? Okay, here you go. Like the actual like dialogue voices. Have that be either DLC or like an unlockable or something. Which, by the way, the original X6 had the Japanese voices, but you know the Mega Man collection took them out. Kind of sidetracked, but anyway, Axel didn't really care about. You know, it's nice to have another character join in. I feel like that. I feel like that's almost like a bit of a throwback to Mega Man 7 because you know they introduced bass, and you know Zero is very much Proto Man from the original. So I guess Axel is supposed to be not the bass equivalent, but like bass in terms of the third character who comes in my personal opinion. But it's Mega Man X7. It was okay. I mean, voice acting I thought was personally fine. The game, I actually was a little surprised. Like I felt like I had an easier time with it. I think what they were trying to do is design it to where you didn't have to use like an enemy's weakness to defeat them. Granted, you don't have to do that, but I feel like with other Mega Man games, they make it like if you can do it, but it'll be heck hard for like a new to average player. If you're not a veteran, you shouldn't play it this way. But I feel like with X7, they were trying to kind of bring that down a little bit, which I think they did because I was able to kind of get through it a little bit. I got to Red, which I'm assuming is near the end of the game. I haven't beaten Red yet because I find him a little difficult, but I will maybe eventually, probably not though, because I don't care enough. And in this game, you don't even get X until later. It's kind of like it's kind of funny. Like in X6, you don't get Zero until later, but you start off as X. In X7, you start off as Axel, and you get Zero like pretty close after, and then you have to unlock X. And there are multiple ways to do it too. So, but yeah, Mega Man X7, mediocre game. I don't know if it's definitely not the worst game I've ever played, but it was just kind of poorly put together. Now, X8 is what X7 should have been. It was literally a pretty dang good game. I felt like it was really done really well, personally. Voice acting, you know, top notch. Took the Command Mission voice actors who are pretty much the official, were at the time the official Mega Man X voice actors until Mr. Mark Garth decided, I don't want to be a voice actor anymore, you know. But anyway, and of course the Japanese version features Takahiro Sakurai. I actually have played a little bit of the Japanese version. I played the demo, actually. not only was it on the Command Mission PlayStation 2 version, but it was also on the official US PlayStation Magazine demo disc, which that one also included Champions Return to Arms. I should probably do a video on it maybe in the future. Thinking about that for game or magazine purposes. But anyway, X8 definitely what Mega Man X7 should have been. The art style, I like the X7 art style better than I do the X8 one, because I feel like the X7 one is more true to, just standard Mega Man X. Like X8 used a different kind of art style entirely. X7 still used the regular basic art style. Like with X8, it seemed like they literally switched artists, which they looked fine, but I mean, and maybe they did that because they thought that the game, and I thought that slimmer designs would have been better. But game definitely a good one. That one I have actually beaten. I played on easy mode though because I am a little pussy. But no, and AJ and I actually took turns playing that one. Like we would switch off. He liked to play as Axel and I would play as Zero. This game also kind of helped help redefine Axel's style, which kind of helps. Which kind of is an interesting point about my whole Bass argument. How he's very similar to Bass and how he kind of what he is as a game mechanic, as a character, because he plays pretty close to Bass. He still has like the 360, like the 360-degree movement with his angle and whatnot. Like he can shoot in any direction, basically, all of them directions. And Bass can do the same thing. But again, I'm not saying that Axel is the base of Mega Man X. I'm just saying they're similar in how they appear and how they play. That's it. That's really it. And when they... That's really it. That's really it. Don't read any further into it. But, yeah, X8 definitely a good one. I'd honestly, if you have to pick one or the other as far as Mega Man X7 or X8 goes, I'd pick X8. Now, that's all of the main series, but I want to go ahead and talk about the games that I will not be doing in this Mega Man thing. Because it's over. The Mega Man thing is over. Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, I will not be playing because, one, I can't record it, and two, there's no point. It plays more like Mega Man X8 with the Mega Man 7, Mega Man X7 art style, which is useful. But I don't, and plus it's not even really that amazing anyways. Like it's kind of just there, so I don't really play it. So no, I'm not going to be doing that one. And even if I had an ability to record a PSP, which I might in the future, if I decide to spend like the $150 for a new PSP model, then I'm still not going to do Maverick Hunter X. I just don't think it's worth it. Mega Man X Command Mission, probably not, if not a definite no. The original Mega Man series, definitely not, because I didn't. There's no real value for it with me, because my commentary series is usually with a game that's nostalgic. The original series is not that nostalgic to me because I barely remember playing any of those games. Like, I think the only one I actually remember playing before I got the Anniversary Collection was either 5 or 6, whichever first one I played, which is like a small memory. And Mega Man 8, which that one I actually do remember. But I played that one after, I think, X4. And the reason why I liked it so much is because it reminded me of X4. And also because, not really showing up. I mean, the original series is not that unique. I mean, unique and then like a new game, like something that most gamers don't have. Most people probably have played the original. But yeah, so I'm not going to do the original series. If I were to do it, I would probably start with Mega Man 8 and then, I don't know, maybe work my way backwards That actually would be interesting. Work my way backwards. Yeah, if I were to ever do Mega Man, the original Mega Man series, I'd go backwards, starting with 8. And, Legends I'll talk about, but I probably won't do a commentary for. The only other one I'd probably do a commentary for would probably be 0, the Mega Man 0 series, because that one I actually really enjoy, but I don't have a way to record it right now, and I'd rather, for Game Boy Advance commentaries, I'd much rather use like my Dazzle and get like a Game Boy player as opposed to do it through emulation, because it's such a pain. Like, recording the GBA Let's Plays are such a pain. Like, I'm actually kind of glad that Dream Sword and Reaver and Ryo told me to do days, because it was such a breeze to record compared to both Legacy of Goku and River City Ransom. Even though River City Ransom, I kind of found like a new style to do it with, and eventually I just stopped caring. Because like, I don't care. The point is the gameplay and whatnot. But, So yeah, that's all I really have to say on the matter at this point. That's pretty much it for this Mega Man X little thing. Will I ever do any more Mega Man commentaries? Maybe. Like I said, the next one I probably want to do would be 0, which I would just go in like chronological order, and I would just do the same thing, only do the entry level. And I would play the originals. I wouldn't play on the Mega Man 0 collection. I do have it, but I mean, obviously I can't record off of it because I don't have a DS capture card. And I don't have a spare DS, so I can't use just like an old one. And like I said with the original series, if I were to do it, which I honestly won't, like not for a long while at least, I'd go backwards. And Command Mission, maybe. Mega Hunter X, no. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. The next commentary series, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You probably already know if you kind of look at my trends. It's not a recent kind of thing, but if you look at the kind of trends I was doing as far as like how many games in a series I was doing, there are only 2 more left. That's another hint. Or that's the only hint you're getting. There are only 2 more left, and then after that, I'm going full-time into Legacy of Goku 2, and I'll finish that, take a break, maybe do something else. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I'll definitely do my thoughts on like little other stuff, and of course, there's also the podcast if you want to do anything with that, which I should probably do a video for at some point. But yeah, that's it for this little aftermath dealio and a recap on everything. That's pretty much all I need to say. I'll put a link to each of the commentaries. Maybe. Yeah, I'll put a link to each of the commentaries if you want to see them for yourself and you want to hear like more of a detail, because they're a recap. I didn't go in entire detail, just basically like what I remember about each game. So yeah, this is Flamesron, aka YouTube Sasuke, signing out. See you guys for the next one.